Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Inside the Master's Mind, where I play rapid games against the opponents of the same rating and of course try to win the games and explain you my thinking process during the games. Let's go and search for our opponent for today's episode. We're playing 10-minute rapid games and we're playing Terminator 2018. Let's go white pieces. We go e4. He's slightly lower rated than myself. Plays d6. We go d4. Taking the center. Knight f6. We develop our knight. And now there is a setup with e5, knight d7. He goes for c6. The idea generally for black here is to play b5, b4 and try to put pressure on e4 pawn. So I think I'll just simply develop my knight. And in case if b5 is played or queen a5, I can probably play simple bishop d2, you know, basically protecting the e4 pawn because knight d4 was a serious threat. Now queen goes to c7, so queen spent two moves already, and now we continue with development. b5, I don't really worry about it too much because I don't think it's something serious. Right now, yes, there is an idea of going e takes d4, knight d4 and c5, but I think I can push a4. Because I generally think that my plan would be to go short castle as opposed to long castle. And generally, yes, I don't think I have a lot of problems. And now I can also think of going for g4 ideas. Because, look, I mean, I have a lot more space. Maybe let's put queen to e2. Generally against this perk or Philidor defense setups, you want to go castle. And then you want to go rook d1, rook e1. Now he goes knight a6. Knight a6 is a very interesting option because knight goes to b4 and somehow I gotta protect from it. So I'm not that sure what I'm gonna do right now, because maybe I gotta play something like knight d1 and then try to place my knight to f5 at some point. You know, Gary Kasparov likes the knight on f5 all the time. Yeah, goes to takes d4, and now the plan would be to play obviously knight c5 on next move, and I'm just trying to think, what if I play something like b4, and if c5 I go b5, and then he might play c4 this and knight c5, which actually makes a lot of sense, but I'm wondering whether I play a e5 there. So bishop a6 is not the move that I really like. Maybe simple knight d4, because I maybe shouldn't worry about him taking my bishop at all. Like maybe knight c5 I just simply go castle. And in case of knight d3, I can kind of, let's say, damage my pawn structure, play c takes d3. Not queen d3, I just kind of don't like it, but maybe c takes d3 just because I might have some pressure. But again, I have to think here. But you know what, I think c takes d3 is slightly better. And then my plan bishop c3, knight goes to e3, and then skittish knight f5. And then, you know, I start putting some pressure on his king side. He goes bishop f8, knight f3. He might play d5. Maybe I'm thinking of f3 at some point, but maybe knight f5 works perfectly. He goes d5, which is, yes, which is, when did he join? Just want to check. 2017. Okay, because you know, sometimes I gotta check this, guys, because sometimes they're playing too well. E5, just trying to get the knight back. By the way, the only square I see is this, or he has otherwise to pin my pawn by playing something like bishop d6, but bishop d6 doesn't work due to tactical reasons, and bishop f8, yes, there is this option, but I think I can just play f4. So bishop d6 doesn't work, bishop c5 might work out, because f4, then queen b6, queen f2, yeah, goes this way, and now I think f4 is something that I have to play. Because I think I gotta put pressure on this knight. If queen b6, I just go king h1 or maybe king h2 just to be safe of this knight h5, knight g3 ideas. But overall, yes, I mean, it's not looking bad for me. Like, I have active center, he has to develop, he has to decide where to put his knight. Let's say I go queen f3 or something and threaten his knight. a6, I don't really understand, because b5 is never a threat, because at the least minimum I can take, and then retake. Then knight comes back. Yes, there are certain ideas, but I don't think they're very significant. Like, I want to push a6 at some point, obviously. Maybe queen f3 for now. Knight d7, I don't really worry about it too much. Because, once again, maybe king h1 would be That's something that I didn't really expect, honestly. What if I take? He takes d4, bishop d4, bishop c5. What if I play, let's say, queen f2? And then takes. Am I not just winning? Unless I'm missing something very stupid, but like I calculate bishop c5. Like, because he gotta do something. Like, if he takes, I take. I mean, it's over. Let's say takes, he goes g6. You know, I'm a bit surprised by his choice here, because I definitely thought he's not going for it. Because now I also want to take on d5 in many lines. Like, what if I play knight c3? And my plan would be to take on d5 and then play knight e7. And the idea is obviously to trade my knight, open the diagonal, and just crush him off the board. And now let's say queen f2. And if takes, the pawn on d5 is under total collapse. If let's say bishop e6, what if I play f5? And then takes f5, it just seems so good. If g takes f5, knight d5, queen d6, or queen d7 probably. But then queen f4, and like this is coming, right? What else does he have? Because knight e7 is a serious idea for myself. I'm just wondering, okay, what if I play knight d5? Like, I don't care too much. Because I think at bishop d5 I have rook f5. I'm still not sure. Yes, there are some ideas to keep the game alive, but nah, it just gotta be extremely horrible. Like, tactically speaking, this should be over, but again, it might turn out that I blunder some tactics. But no, I mean, I look at knight e7. If queen, let's say, goes away from this diagonal, I go queen f4, and then my queen slowly comes. And there are also a bunch of different fork ideas that might happen, and my king is kind of safe on g1. It's safer than the king on g8, obviously, but yeah, again, he might go for some queen trades, but I just don't see, like, the only way for him right now is find some tactical solution, which I don't see for him. Like, when knight c7 comes, there is some rook d8 though, but I just don't think it works. Yeah, goes this way. Now I seriously have to think of this. Maybe I should have just played something like rook f3 immediately, or yeah, I mean queen d5 or rook f5, because rook f5, the point is I'm threatening queen g4, so he almost has to play something like queen g3, and that's gonna be over. So this, let's say queen d5, and let's say king h8 for example. Then I go rook, maybe rook f3 afterwards. King c7. Like, it has to be winning. Rook f5. Like, yeah, rook f5, queen g4. Like, now he has to play queen g3. Like, I don't see a better option for him. Like, I want to take, I want to go queen g4. Yeah, h6 just doesn't work because queen g4 comes. Queen g3 is the only move I saw. And then I have to think, like, obviously queen d5 is coming next. Then king h8. And then I seriously have to think how to convert. Rook f3 would be one of the options. And then, I mean, I'm simply up a lot of material. And his king is weak. King goes to h8. And then I try to think of how I can use. One of the ideas would be probably just go rook e1, rook e7 at some point, and, you know, try to take one of 7. At some point, yes, my opponent g2 might have problems, and at the moment he has an extra bishop, but I mean, who cares? Because let's say bishop g2 is never a possibility due to queen g4. So yeah, queen g3 is the only option I've got. If he had rook on c8, yes, he could slide the queen to c5, trade queens, but yeah, right now it's just bad, and rook g5 is coming. So rook e2 cannot be played on time. This pawn is weakened as well. His chance is probably to play queen f3, but king h1. And I mean, there are no more checks. King goes to h8. I might take on f7 then. He goes this way. Rook f3. I mean, this has to be so good for me. Rook f3, yes. If queen g6, I mean, somehow it just has to be over. Maybe just king h2, and then bam. Like, it should be easy, but at the same time, yes, I know that I still have to convert in a most precise way. So let's go. Yeah, now I'm thinking queen d6, some rook d8, queen c7. Actually, you know, it doesn't look that bad. I might also take here. But no, let's play queen d6. Let's play a little bit simpler. I think I'm not blundering anything. So yeah, queen trade is one of the things I might blunder, but I don't think that's gonna happen, because queen trade I allow him actually to have a good position. And now, yes, queen f5. And now let's go for... I could play rook g3 potentially, but the problem is something like king h8 takes rook g7. Like, it still has to be good, but you know, when you have such a weak king here, it just like you don't want to go for any queen trades. So let's go. Yeah, I'm trying to think before. Like, my idea is still, you know, queen g4, but now he has queen g5 at any point, so he'll go rook d8, trying to play queen d4 and go for the rook endgame. But one of my plans might be just to go rook c1, allow... Yeah, he goes this way. And now I think what I'm gonna do is... What if I play rook f1 and then try to basically threaten the pawn on f7? Like, he still has no threats against my king though. Like, at any point I'll protect myself. And now let's go... Yeah, I just don't understand this move. Wait. d5. He's trying to create some attacks, but I just don't think it's something that I should be worried about. Like, what if I go queen g4? Let's say queen g5, king d7, queen d7, queen g6, and then I take... Yeah, let's go queen g4. I think... I mean, we're affecting checkmate. We're going queen d7 next. Now I still, you know, I said I gotta be careful because I might blunder some stuff. But now he has to protect the pawn somehow. Yeah, he goes this way. He goes a bit passive. And now I seriously have to think. All his pieces are tight. I gotta give a check from f5 square. Yeah, let's take. I don't think that's something that is really scary. Now let's go rook f5. Maybe queen e7. Queen e7 is looking good as well, but I just don't like this move as you know, as I like other moves. Okay, let's go rook f2. Nah, rook f2 might be a problem. d4, queen e2, rook f2. Okay, let's go d4. Tank the queen. Because I don't want to allow him these checks here on this diagonal. So if queen e2, I go rook f2. Rook g2, I take. So I should be safe. At least I hope I should be safe. And queen f5 check is also one of the ideas. He's a bit better on time. But I just think that, you know, I have to be a bit better here. Yeah, goes this way. Now let's go this rook f2. Now queen d1 or queen e1 check, I just go king h2, and there is no longer check from e5 square. And if rook g2, expecting this, of course I'm taking with king. And then if rook g8, I just go king h2, my king is safe. So this should be good. He goes this way. And now let's check queen f5. And I have to come for this king. He goes this way, now h4. And then h5. What if I play this though? h4. Okay, king has to move, right? I don't think he has a choice. At least I hope he doesn't have it. And then I have to think like whether I have to play h5 or not, because rook g5 and suddenly he might set up some ideas. But look, I just gotta give him very little counterplay. Queen f4. You know, basically I'm telling him, buddy, I'll at some point try to play h5 at least. Yeah, he now got some counterplay. I was a bit scared of all of it, but you know, rook g4 is never an option due to queen h6, so I'm kind of still keeping this under control. But yeah, I have to be careful now, or I have to play something like g3 to just avoid any troubles with h4, because I don't think he will ever take, and I'm quite solid here in general, so g3 might be a smart decision. But yeah, rook g4 is never coming, at least not anytime soon. Let's go g3. Let's try to protect myself here, because rook g3 once again, never an option. And then I can think what I can come up with, because h5 is not an option as well. Maybe I gotta play something like rook e2 and rook e7, the plan that I discussed earlier. And then still, I mean, my king has to be safe. Even if he tries to play rook g3 at some point, I'll have two rooks for the queen. Once again, he has a very weak king. Let's go rook e2 and rook e5, and yeah, the plan remains the same. Rook g4 now. I still blundered it. Like, I didn't want to blunder it, and I still did it. Queen f5 takes. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, I'm such an idiot, unfortunately. If I play rook e5, doesn't work. Queen f5 takes rook g3. I still have some chances to win this game, but it's gonna be extremely complicated. He takes here, which I thought is not best. I thought taking on g3 would be a lot better, because now I think I keep the pawns. Okay, let's go this way. Rook f3, I'll go rook b6. For this, yes. Maybe rook f5 actually. Why not? Rook f5, just to keep it simpler. And then, I don't know, I mean, I keep a pawn before b5. If I manage to play that, my position becomes a dream. Yeah, the problem is this pawn. Like, it's extremely terrible. Yeah, let's go rook f4. Maybe I want to push g4, g5. Like, because I gotta do something. And yeah, goes this way. Let's go rook f2. Protecting it. Rook b3, go g4, yes. And then, like, it's getting a bit better. Because he has to move his rook. Or he has to move his king, right? Yeah, now we're getting kind of the same time. And it's getting very complicated. Yeah, let's go this way. My idea is to play, obviously, something like rook e7. Yeah, goes this way. Let's go h5. I think still keeping some advantage. Takes. And then king g3. And then we try to win this endgame. Yeah, he's thinking for too long. Like, I might just go and flag him. Like, I think that would be one of the possibilities in this position. Or, let's say, try to hide my king and then try to go for f7 pawn. Let's go this way. And then rook g1, king h3, rook h1, king g2. And we try to slide. Let's go rook a6. And yes, I don't have a plan here too much. Rook d6. The idea is, of course, king f8, rook d8, king h4. Maybe I have to go for a different plan now. Yes, this. Rook f1, king g2. Yes. And then king h3. This. I don't have a plan for a window. Like, all I gotta do is probably go for some flagging here. Because I don't see how I can potentially create... If my pawn was protected, yes, but then it's not protected. It's absolutely terrible. Yeah, I'm thinking what I can do. Rook goes this way. Maybe g5 and king g4. Like, why not? Because I have to flag him as well. Like, I gotta do something that is a bit crazy in a way. Because king h7, rook c7. King h6 this, and at least my pawn is moving a little bit. So yeah, there are still some chances. Let's go rook c8 and rook f8. Yeah, now it looks like I'm gonna win. Because I take on f7. King g5. And then king h4. Yes, slowly. King g4. Um, king f5, king e5, and then king walks this, this. I take on f7. Rook f7. Yeah, and I win the game. Rook g7. Yes, let's go. And now let's quickly take a look at the analysis, and then it's obviously a draw if he plays the right way, the correct way. But I just managed to out-trick him, and he fought for too long. Like, that's where the class comes in, and it's like you gotta think faster. Yeah, and in rapid games specifically, sometimes people just think for too long, and it doesn't work out for them great. But yeah, let's see. I run an analysis right now in the analysis tab, so let's see the accuracy. The accuracy would be terrible in my opinion, but okay, let's see. Okay, 88.4 for myself and 98.6. I mean, he played a decent game as well, and as I said, I think around here we gotta start analyzing. Like, the opening went pretty smoothly. Queen a5, queen goes back. I got a good advantage. According to computer, a5 is best, just to push the knight back. Bishop d3, e5, a4, because look, I didn't play 5, he plays a5 himself. This, h3, queen a2, I go knight d1. That wasn't probably best, because yeah, my plan was generally to take some space on the queen side, but knight a6 turned out to be a very good move just because knight b4 is about to happen. And if I take on a6, what might happen is something like castle and then a5, and at some point bishop will come up to a6. And yeah, probably white are still better, but I just don't like that black have two bishops and I have only one. But okay. E takes d4, knight d4, and all my plans were around f5 square, castle, takes, c takes d3, yeah, slightly better. C takes d3, and it's also better because, let's say, in the game after d5 f5, like I can't say I really used the c takes d3 as it's supposed to be used, but yeah, let's say e5, and then at some point I might push d4 as well, and I kind of try to, take as much center as possible. While after king d3, d5 comes, and it's probably completely equal. At least I have some chances to push e5. e5, e5 goes to f8, and now a6. a6 is the move that I didn't really understand. Computer says b4 was best, just to prevent c5. Because b5 is never a threat. Once again, takes, knight b5, and I win a pawn because rook on a8 is unprotected as of right now. Queen goes to f3 and c5. I was surprised. It takes f6, and here I got a huge advantage, which I couldn't use properly. Knight goes to c3, bishop c5, queen f2, takes. Yeah, +2 position, bishop e6, f5. Slight inaccuracy, but I thought it's gonna be huge, because look, if bishop f5, I might think of taking on f5, I might just take on d5. Knight d5 is what I probably would play, and then knight e7, and generally this is a very good position, but h takes f5, knight d5, bishop d5, rook f5 the best, queen g3, king d5, correct, h6, I play the rook f3, which is best, queen g5, and now what computer says I should just take and go for rook f5, and just capture pawn on g5, king h7, I can take, rook g8, and then it's just an absolutely winning rook endgame. Rook c1, rook g6, I can probably play rook c7, rook f6, rook b7. I have potential pass pawn either this or this, and then also on d file. Let's say rook d6, I can take on f7, and now it's obviously winning just because I have two pass pawn on the king side and one pass pawn. I mean, this one will be taken and one pass pawn will be created on the queen side. So yeah, it would have been an easier win than what I did in the game. Queen d6, queen b4, queen h7. Should have taken on b7, by the way. Just take more material. And now, yes, we kind of shuffled around. I didn't play too well here. d4, queen goes to e2. I think I might have even, gotten an equal position. Like, yeah, I think I saw on the graph that, yeah, rook e2 is a blunder. Rook g4, as it was played in the game, yes, and now I have to lose this d4 pawn. And for whatever reason, I'm not sure why he didn't play rook g3, because it seemed like a dead draw, to me at least. Like, he goes rook g4 afterwards, but then he let me take this pawns, rook b5, and now, yes, I mean, I tried to hold on to that pawns. Before apparently was strong. I'm not sure. Oh, so h5 was a threat, and if rook goes to f6, okay, I mean, rook f6 it's +3 advantage. Like it's a bit insane to me that it is so winning here. Like I personally, yeah, because basically the rook is in behind the pawn, and yeah, I mean king goes to maybe f4 and try to create. But again, it's not so easy. Computer says +4, but I think it's still a lot of play. Yeah, and here it's only like +0.5, and obviously this one is an absolute dead draw. And in the end, you know, tricks, because that was my only way. Like I needed to flag, and you make one move wrong, and computer would say it's a threefold repetition. So I also had to be extremely careful in order not to blunder that. Yeah, now I managed to take the pawn f7. This is still a draw, by the way, but yeah, he had no time. Yeah, guys, that's it from me for today. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Let me know any feedback you might have, and I'll see you in the next one next week. Bye bye.